Racism has no place in football, yet it keeps coming back again and again. Remember the explosive clash between Luis Suarez and Patrice Evra? Or the shocking incidents in Italy's Serie A? These are just a few examples of a deep-rooted problem plaguing the beautiful game. But what happened to Vinicius Jr. is beyond belief. The racist abuse he endured wasn't just shocking, it's a wake-up call for football fans everywhere. How could this happen in today's world? And what are the football authorities going to do about it? Vinicius Jr., one of Real Madrid's brightest stars, has been at the centre of this storm. The abuse he faced on the pitch was disgraceful, and the reactions from fans and officials have been all over the place. Just as disturbing, far-right politician Jean-Marie Le Pen once suggested that the French national team shouldn't include non-French players, reflecting a troubling mindset that still lingers in some corners of the sport. Should players like Vinicius Jr. walk out in protest, or should they keep playing and fighting against the injustice on the field? It's a question that sparks heated debates and demands urgent answers. Stick around as we uncover the truth behind Vinicius Jr.'s battle, reveal the shocking details you need to know, and discuss why this is a fight for the soul of football itself. "I just want to play football," Vinicius Jr. cried out, expressing the deep frustration that had built up over years of enduring racial abuse. On May 21st, 2023, during a match at Valencia's Mestalla Stadium, the Real Madrid forward was subjected to vile racist taunts. The abuse was so severe that Vinicius confronted the fans, criticising the Spanish football's failure to tackle racism, stating, "Racism is normal in La Liga." This wasn't an isolated incident for Vinicius Jr., who had been one of La Liga's brightest stars since joining in 2018. He's faced racial abuse multiple times, but the incident at Mestalla was a tipping point. Vinicius pointed out the fans responsible and play was halted for several minutes. The world watched as he bravely stood up to the perpetrators, sparking a global wave of support for him. But what led to this breaking point? Let's dive into the incidents that brought Vinicius Jr. to this moment. In October 2021, during a match against Barcelona at Camp Nou, as Vinicius was substituted, a fan shouted "monkey" at him. The league filed a complaint with hate crime prosecutors in Barcelona, but the case was closed because police couldn't identify the perpetrator. This failure highlighted a significant gap in how such incidents were handled. Fast forward to March 2022, during a match against Real Mallorca, Vinicius was subjected to monkey chants and told to "get some bananas" as he disputed a decision with the referee. Again, La Liga filed a complaint, but no action was taken because the sounds, though despicable, did not constitute a criminal offence under Spanish law. Then, in September 2022, on a late-night Spanish television show, a contributor made a racist comment comparing Vinicius' dancing celebrations to acting like a monkey. The comment caused outrage, especially in Brazil, and Vinicius responded powerfully on social media, stating, "The happiness of a black Brazilian victorious in Europe bothers people a lot more, but my desire to win, my smile, and the brightness in my eyes are much bigger than that." This has continued to face racial slurs, with many incidents going unpunished or resulting in minimal actions against the offenders. This persistence issue underscores the need for stronger, more effective measures to erase racism in football. In Spain, racist abuse is classified as a hate crime, and those found guilty can face severe penalties, including prison sentences and fines. However, La Liga itself lacks the legal power to punish offenders directly, a situation the league is keen to change. In 2023, Brazil passes the Vinicius Jr. law to combat racism at sporting events, highlighting the significant impact Vinicius has had beyond the football pitch. His experiences and his stance against racism have gained support from fans, players, and organisations worldwide. As incidents of racism in football persist, the big question to answer is, should players walk out in protest, or should they keep playing and fighting against this injustice on the field? This dilemma has sparked heated debates and led to some dramatic moments in football history. In December 2020, during a Champions League match between Paris Saint-Germain and Istanbul Başakşehir, players from both teams walked out in protest after the fourth official was accused of using a racial slur against Başakşehir's assistant coach, Pierre Webo. The match was halted and both teams refused to return until a different set of officials took over. This bold move sent shockwaves through the football community, showcasing the players' solidarity and their willingness to stand up against racism. Years earlier, Samuel Eto'o attempted to walk off the pitch in protest of racist chants from a crowd during a match between Barcelona and Real Zaragoza in 2006. His teammates persuaded him to stay and continue playing, but the incident highlighted internal struggles players face between making a stand and continuing to play. Should Eto'o have walked out? Many believe that his departure would have sent a powerful message, perhaps igniting greater urgency to address racism in football. Another powerful example came in 2013 when Kevin Prince Boateng, playing for AC Milan, responded to racist abuse by kicking the ball into the stands and walking off the pitch with his teammates. This act of defiance drew widespread attention and support, highlighting the severity of the issue and the need for decisive action. Boateng's decision to walk out was a clear statement that racism would not be tolerated, and it inspired many other players to consider similar actions. One of the most talked about incidents involved Moise Kean during a match between Juventus and Cagliari in April 2019. After scoring a goal, Kean stood in front of the Cagliari fans with his arms outstretched, celebrating defiantly as they hurled racist insults at him. This moment of triumph was marred by comments from his teammate Leonardo Bonucci, who suggested that Kean was partly to blame for provoking the crowd. Bonucci's remarks sparked outrage, with many players and fans calling him out for effectively condoning the racist abuse. Mario Balotelli even said, "Bonucci is lucky I wasn't there." The reaction to Bonucci's comments underscored a significant issue in football: the tendency to blame victims rather than address the root problem of racism. Countless players, including Raheem Sterling and Paul Pogba, condemned Bonucci's stance, emphasizing that no form of celebration justifies racial abuse. Racism in football is a ticking time bomb, and it seems like the people in charge are just sitting on it. When Vinicius Jr faced horrific abuse, the world watched. But what did the football authorities actually do? Are their actions enough to stop this plague? La Liga president Javier Tebas initially responded to Vinicius Jr.'s complaints by going on the defensive, claiming neither Spain nor La Liga are racist. Instead of addressing the real issue, he seemed more interested in protecting the league's image. This defensive stance overshadowed any efforts to tackle racism head-on. When Vinicius was racially abused at Valencia's Mestalla Stadium in May 2023, the match was halted for 10 minutes. But was that enough? The fans responsible were identified, but the fines and partial stadium closures felt like a slap on the wrist. And these mild penalties really don't seem to be stopping racist behaviour. Real Madrid has shown strong support for Vinicius Jr, with public statements and legal threats against offenders. But how far does the support go? While it's great to see the club backing its players, football enthusiasts don't see this as a long-term solution. Despite their influence and resources, the systemic problem persists. Real Madrid could push for more significant changes alongside La Liga and other clubs, but that hasn't happened yet. The Royal Spanish Football Federation, RFEF, can improve severe penalties like venue closures and bans. But how often do they use this power effectively? In December 2022, Vinicius was racially abused at Real Valladolid. Although the club identified the offenders and revoked their season tickets, the response took too long. Football analysts and insiders like Thierry Henry argue that football's response to racism is reactive, not proactive. They demand immediate bans for offenders, heavy penalties for clubs whose fans are racist, and comprehensive education for everyone involved in football. These stronger policies are not yet in place, indicating a significant gap in the current approach. In March 2022, during a match against Real Mallorca, Vinicius faced monkey chants. The Liga filed a complaint, but no action was taken because the sounds didn't meet the threshold for criminal charges. Racism in football remains a critical issue that demands stronger actions from authorities. Vinicius Jr has bravely confronted this vile behaviour, sparking global discussions and support. However, more needs to be done. Football authorities must implement harsher penalties, immediate bans, and comprehensive education programs to eradicate racism from the sport. Real change requires proactive measures and a unified front. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.